I guess fast forwarding a couple of E3s, you had told me that you met that same day. We met at night to see the game. That day, you'd been over to meet with Elon Musk, and then you took a meeting. I guess you showed Steven Spielberg the game.
Right.
So, did you request those meetings? Did they want to speak with you? What's the story with those? Because that's a heck of a day for anyone. Oh yeah, well, Elon and now Spielberg.
And I think my favorite part of that was like Kanye was at E3 that year, and we got a message that he had said he wanted to see the game, kind of thing, and we weren't, because we're self-funded and stuff like that, so we weren't actually on the show floor at E3.
Right.
So we were like, we're not on the show floor, and he's like on the show floor or whatever, walking around, and we're like, and we've got Elon Musk to meet and Steven Spielberg, so we can't take that Kanye meeting, kind of. It's one of my favorite things, So that was a weird day. That will go down as like this game, I don't know, it has put me in one weird situation after another. Every time I think things have been their most surreal, then something else happens. But that day we got contact from like Elon Musk's secretary or something like that, and she was like, oh, like, it's such a weird mail. And Elon Musk would like to meet with you, and he's in LA.
A gamer.
Yeah, and he made he started out programming games. He made a game, I think it's called Blaster, and that was kind of like the first money he made, basically. And he's a programmer.
So what do you talk to Elon Musk about if his office reaches out?
Yeah, so we got a tour of SpaceX, which, like, that would be a big deal for me. Like, I mean, anyone would want that, but it was so cool, and amazing. Like, it's an amazing place, like what they're doing there. And so we got a tour, and then we just sat and chatted to him, and we had the same reaction that you have, which is like, what are we gonna talk to him about? And like, I would be a big fan of his and stuff. And we talked about loads of stuff. We just talked about normal things. I mean, obviously he's a normal person and stuff. We talked about laptops, and stuff like that. He's buying a laptop. I was giving him recommendations. He's an incredibly nice guy, and obviously super, super smart, and we were talking about like AI, and at the time it hadn't been announced, but he was talking about how he was working on and telling us a lot about how he's working on the self-driving car stuff, and
autopilot.
He's heading that up, and some of the problems, and just loads of things. He's fascinating. I mean, he has kind of a like a way of talking that you're not, like, he's obviously thinking as much as he's talking, if that makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Right? And so we would keep waiting for him to just like ask us to leave, and we ended up staying there. Like, he had other meetings, and they were like queuing up, waiting for him, and people kept coming in and saying like, your next meeting's here and stuff like that. But we just stayed and chatted. It was really, really good to chat to him.
Wow. And then Spielberg?
Yeah, so we went straight from that back to E3, back in the center of LA, and we'd already met with some of Steven Spielberg's like production designers and stuff like that. They're working on a film, and they wanted to know. Well, I guess they're working on Ready Player One, right? And I guess there's some crossover there with something like No Man's Sky. So they were just asking us a bunch of questions and wanted to see it, and because Ready Player One is about like a a gaming world that you go and inhabit and has like an infinite number of planets and things like that. So there's like weird
crossover potential.
Yeah. So we were just talking to them about how it works, how our game works and how games work and stuff like that. Like I think he's quite into games and stuff like that.
Yeah, he's developed. Was it Boom Blocks?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and worked at EA for a while. So just super interesting to show him the game.
So No Man's Sky, you've talked a lot about wanting No Man's Sky to feel like you're walking into the a science fiction. You you blanketed your whole you cut out space or sci-fi novels, and you've talked about. So you would literally walk into those novels, and you've said that you want the game to feel like that as well. So what are some of your favorite novels, sci-fi novels?
The one, if anyone ever asked me, like, someone asked me recently, like, I feel like I've never read much sci-fi. Where should I start? Or whatever. And I think the one that I always recommend is it's not actually a good place to start. It's just that it's my favorite book. So Dune is like my, it's like 2,000 pages long, and I just read it in like 2 days or something like that. I just consumed that book. But it's just a brilliant book. Anyone who makes it past the first 100 pages always just gets totally like consumed by it. I think it's complex and things like that, but it brings, I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but like it is all the things that sci-fi should be, I think, right? Like in terms of, I think sci-fi, for me, good sci-fi will put forward the idea of something science-related that's different. So imagine a world where technology can do this, right? So whether it's like, robots are sentient, or you can see the future, or you can predict a crime, or you can, and then tries to build that out with knowing what we know about people and stuff like that. Let's build that world out fully and explore it, right? And imagine what that would be like. And then as you read it, to me, it tells you, it's a way of exploring a certain part of like life or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, so that's good sci-fi to me. And Dune is just such it puts forward the idea that there's spice and it's incredibly valuable, and kind of explores this whole world of like, builds out this universe of pirates and the sandworms, and it just seems very complete, basically.